So President Trump campaigned for office on a promise to, quote, lower costs on day one. Those were his words. And now here we are. It's a year later. Cost of groceries is up. The cost of utilities is up. The cost to build a home is up. Healthcare premiums are skyrocketing. Trump also promised to create, quote, millions and millions of new manufacturing jobs. And he also promised that his tariffs would bring factories, quote, roaring back. So here we are a year later, and we've lost manufacturing jobs. And look, I believe in tariffs as a tool, but Trump's reckless across-the-board tariffs aren't aimed at building up strategic sectors. And to the extent they've created leverage with our trading partners, he's frittered it away doing favors for giant multinational corporations, not helping out American workers. So today we're talking about how the U.S. should approach renegotiation of the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement, the successor to NAFTA. But based on the last year, I am worried that the administration will not use U.S. leverage to negotiate on behalf of American workers. So, Mr. Gottwald, you are a trade expert with the AFL-CIO. Are Trump's across-the-board tariffs bringing back manufacturing jobs to the U.S.?
Thank you for the question, Senator. The short answer is no. The tariffs that he imposed in April, these Liberation Day across-the-board tariffs, we haven't seen the reshoring of manufacturing jobs due to those. And the latest data, year over year, we've lost 70,000 manufacturing jobs.
So we've lost 70,000 manufacturing jobs over the last year.
Correct.
Of Trump's presidency. You know, I have to say, I wish it were surprising, but it's not. When you see how Trump is using tariffs as leverage in talks with trading partners, and here's an example. Trump hiked tariffs on European steel. Okay, I get that. Allegedly, it was going to be to boost U.S. steel manufacturing. But then his administration said, oh, they would roll back those steel tariffs if the EU weakened its laws regulating big tech. Now, mind you, the European laws are common sense regulations. They're about consumer protection and privacy and breaking up monopolies. So, Mr. Gottwald, when Trump said he'd be willing to reduce tariffs on steel imports if the EU repealed regulations on big tech, did that help American workers?
No.
And that's just one example. So again and again, Trump has slapped on tariffs, hiking prices that Americans pay, and then turned around and turned some of them off because some billionaire CEO called or made a donation and wanted some tariff relief. And now the USMCA is scheduled to expire in July, meaning we have real leverage. If the U.S. is going to sign back on, we need to tighten the rules so American workers aren't competing with workers in countries that treat their workers like dirt and trash the environment as well. One way to do that would be to strengthen USMCA's rapid response enforcement mechanism that lets us put tariffs on specific facilities when they violate collective bargaining laws. Mr. Gottwald, how could the U.S. use our leverage to improve this tool and actually help workers?
The rapid response mechanism has been an incredible advance in labor enforcement and trade agreements. It's not perfect, and we could make it better. Here's some ideas. One, we could not just address, currently it's focused on freedom of association and collective bargaining, two very important fundamental worker rights, but we could expand that to other worker rights. Think about occupational safety and health, the right to be free from discrimination, other things that affect the competitive balance. So we could broaden the scope of rights affected. The other thing we can do is make sure the mechanism is delivering on time. The rapid part of it, at times we've seen when cases go to arbitration under the mechanism, they've dragged on a little too long. So we'd like to explore ways to keep it rapid.
I appreciate that. You know, look, right now big tech is paying millions to lobby for more giveaways in the USMCA, including provisions that could make it harder for the U.S. government to be able to protect American citizens' misuse of data. Instead of going to bat for these billionaire companies, Donald Trump should be using our leverage in these trade negotiations to improve conditions for American workers. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.